Hello, my fair lords and ladies. Today we're going to be tier ranking every Ren Fair I've been to. I've only been to 6 Ren Fairs, but I would say at this point I'm kind of somewhat of an expert, you might say, and I'm going to be ranking the different categories of each one by worst to best, and at the end of everything we're going to see which one ends up winning. For this video specifically, I'm going to be ranking the 4 Renaissance festivals I have documented on this channel. So the Renaissance fairs we will be ranking are Arizona, Colorado, the first ever Renaissance festival located in California, and the largest Renaissance festival located in Texas. Here are all of the things we are going to be ranking. We are going to rank cost, shows, reenactments, food, shopping, the overall theme and vibe of the place, extra activities. Any extra activity that isn't something you pay for, that's what that means. And the people, were they nice? Were they dressed up? Is this somewhere where you're gonna feel out of place? And there's one more category I totally forgot about, and that's going to be crowds. Whether it was packed, whether it was like impossible to move around or do anything because of how many people there were. Yeah, that's super important to note. But now let's talk about the different tiers. I thought really hard about this, okay? And I based all of them off of The Office, because I love that show and why not? So here's what they are. The absolutely incredible top tier of them all is going to be I Am Beyonce Always.
You're Ali Larder, I'm Beyonce.
I am Beyonce always.
Not this time.
Yes, I am.
The runner-up is going to be I Want People to Be Afraid of How Much They Love Me.
Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
The I'm unsure tier is going to be Fool Me Once, Strike One, Fool Me Twice, Strike Three.
You know what they say? Fool me once, strike one, but fool me twice, strike three.
The I really don't like this, but I have to give it a ranking, is going to be Why Are You the Way That You Are?
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
And the worst tier of them all is going to be I Understand Nothing.
I understand nothing.
So those are the ranks that I will be putting, that I will be ranking each category. Why is that not making sense in my head? Never mind. Let's get started. We're gonna start with the first one, which is the Arizona Renaissance Festival. So for the Arizona Renaissance Festival, tickets cost $34 plus tax. That is pretty expensive for a general Ren Fair, but that's not nearly as bad as other ones I've been to. So I am going to put that just in the second tier, which is I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. Yeah, that's where cost is gonna go. Plus, the parking at the Arizona Renaissance Festival is free. Next, we've got shows. So for the shows, I swear to you, the shows at the Arizona Renaissance Festival were so good. There was sword swallowing, which I've never seen at any other fair before. There was cats jumping through fire. There was dogs doing tricks and stuff. I don't know, I think I just really like animal shows a lot, and I thought the shows were incredible. It was the best part, and I saw some of the best shows there that I've seen anywhere. So it's gonna have to go there for sure. For reenactments, there actually were reenactments at the Arizona Renaissance Festival, and I was shocked by that, and I was very happy about it. If you saw my video, you know. So I'm gonna put the reenactments at I Want People to Be Afraid of How Much They Love Me. There wasn't a ton. There was more than every other festival I had been to at that time, but it wasn't as much as another festival, which I'll get to later. Next, we've got the extra activities. Okay, for this, I'm going to put it at Fool Me Once, Strike One, Fool Me Twice, Strike Three, because there were some extra activities that were going on, like a coordinated dance, and I really did like that part of it. There were also some medieval games you could participate in. That being said, actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna move that up. Never mind. For extra activities, we're gonna move it up to 2. I didn't particularly participate in everything that I saw. I did the dance at the end, which was great, but I would say that's a pretty good activity, so we're gonna move it to I Want People to Be Afraid of How Much They Love Me. Regarding the food, I think the food was good. I did like a couple of the things I had, but it was lacking certain things, and it was all things I'd never had previously. Like I had Chinese food, I had lasagna, I had Scotch eggs. The Scotch eggs were a total fail, but the price point was decent. So I'm going to put the food at fool me once, strike one, fool me twice, strike three. For the shopping at the Arizona Renaissance Festival, literally there was no shops there. There was like no clothing stores. It was just, no, I'm sorry. I don't need to explain myself. I'm going to put it under I understand nothing, like truly. I don't. They did have a bookstore though, and that was pretty cool. Next, we're going to talk about the vibe, which is like the vibe, the overall theme of the park itself, the layout of it. I think it was actually really good. The town was good. You're literally in the middle of the desert. There's not a lot of shade or anything. I went on a day, it was very cloudy. I think if it would have been sunny, I would have been absolutely miserable and hated it. But I do think the setup and the layout of the whole place kept the crowd flowing in a way that was relaxing to get through. And the theming was quite nice. So I'm going to give the overall vibe. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. As for the people, I felt like there wasn't that many people in costumes. It was more the reenactors that were in the costumes. So for me, when I go to a Ren Fair, I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and I want to meet more people that are like dressed up and super into it. And I did see a lot of people that maybe were into it, but they weren't into it the way I was, and so I was like, I'm not gonna go talk to them. They're wearing normal clothes. You know what I mean? I think I'm gonna put it under why are you the way that you are? I think I am. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. And as for the crowds has to be I am Beyonce always. 100%. There was, okay, well, first of all, getting in was crazy. It was a very long line to get in, even upon opening. But once you actually got in, the layout of the place flowed so nicely that you were never like stuck behind people trying to walk. You always had your own space to move around and do whatever. It wasn't cluttered at all. So yeah, I am Beyonce, always. Now it's time to look at the Irwindale, California Renaissance Festival. This is the first ever Renaissance Festival in the world. So this is a really important one to talk about here. First thing we are going to rank is the cost. So an adult single day ticket is $42 plus tax, plus $12 for parking. That being said, the cost has to go as I understand absolutely nothing, because every other Ren Fair I've ever been to, it's never been that much. I know this is just a California thing, but it's gonna get progressively worse as I continue on. It's gonna lead me into another category that is gonna go on a lower level as well. The shows were so packed. They were so incredibly packed. Okay, the show is only 15 minutes long. Normally they're very long shows, especially the joust. This is not, so I'm still dying though, it's hot. The joust setup was done so poorly. There was just not enough room to be able to hear anything, and literally zero shade. They shut off entry into the joust about 45 minutes prior to the show even starting, and they really just need to find a bigger space. Even the Arizona Renaissance Festival, that was one of the best jousts I've ever seen in my life. It was so good, and I could see everything that was going on. It was just a much better setup. I'm gonna put them under why are you the way that you are. Yeah, it wasn't great, but I did see one show there that I actually really liked, and that was the washing well winches. Washing well winches. Yeah, that was hilarious. I loved it. Next, we are going to talk about the reenactments. So because this is the first ever Renaissance Festival in the world, this is the Ren Fair that started them all, there are historical reenactors literally everywhere. And you can go into different guilds and you can talk to them, and they talk in an accent and they tell you what they're doing, and you can participate in things. So that has to be number one. This is the only Renaissance festival I've ever been to that had so much historical accuracy to it, and that was the main theme. The main theme was not fantasy at all. It was literally historical reenactment. So that's gonna go at I am Beyonce always, for sure. And what's gonna go right next to it is extra activities. There were so many activities that went with the reenactments that you could participate in, because at the different guilds and stuff, they were doing things, and you could go up to the tents and talk to them and do historical activities with them and make things. And again, if you saw my video, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there was a lot of free, fun things to do that were actually educational. That's like exactly what I want from a Ren Fair. Regarding food, it's kind of the same prices as everywhere, like $7 for a slice of pizza. That seems about normal to me. I did like the setup of the food. They had a food court that you could go to with pretty much everything that you wanted. And yeah, you could find some other booths here and there, but like that was the main area for food. So it made it really easy. If you were like hungry, you knew you could go there and find something. I did have this incredible pretzel hot dog thing there, and that was fantastic. I did wait 30 minutes to get it, but it was amazing. They also had whiskey slaps there, where you take a shot of whiskey and you get slapped in the face. We love a good time. And they also had a naughty bar where they pour drinks in your mouth and they talk dirty to you.
My love, have you ever sexted before? No. No, my God, my chain so bad. That's right. Let me get you nice.
I love finding those like weird things, you know? But this fair had it. So because of those things, I'm gonna have to put it at fool me once, strike one, fool me twice, strike three. Regarding the shopping, they had a thrift shop pretty much of Renaissance Fair clothing, like stuff that was reminiscent of it. I thought it was fabulous. I mean, so affordable, great items. Couldn't ask for more. I did like the other shops as well that I found, and I found some really like interesting shops that I had never seen before, like a little booth where you could buy something to make absinthe. I don't know. So I'm gonna say that that is going to go at, I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. Shopping's gonna go at number 2. Yeah. So as for the vibe, I mean, it's great. It's great. It's literally on the water with mountains in the background. You can see it right here. And it's gorgeous. You can't ask for a better backdrop. You really can't. So I'm gonna give the vibe and the village and everything like that, I'm gonna give it a 2. Plus the historical reenactment tents and stuff, they're all set up so well, and it's just so much fun to just walk around and watch people do their thing and live life. Like, I loved it. For the people, I'm gonna put the people at, I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. Yeah, because I got some gifts there from strangers walking by. I made a friend there. People were very kind, and I'd say that the people were great. So the crowds definitely has to go under I understand nothing. The crowds here was the worst I've ever seen at any Renaissance festival. The layout of this place was just awful. It was shoulder to shoulder everywhere you went. I'm not kidding. It was. And I went twice, and it was just as packed the second time. I mean, it was like a little better, but it was still extremely packed. So I understand nothing about that. I do think they need a bigger area for this Ren Fair, and it would be perfect. But yeah, the crowd's awful. Like waiting for 30 minutes to get something to eat when it's 90, 95 out, it's not fun. Next, we have the Colorado Renaissance Festival. Tickets for this one are $26.50. So I'm gonna put the tickets at I Am Beyonce Always. That's a really good price for a Renaissance Fair. And parking was also free. Next are the shows. The shows were good. I'd say the setup of the joust was very interesting, but again, you're so far away from it that you couldn't really hear things going on, but you could at least see. So that's a plus. There was lots of really good live music. The stages were much smaller because the setup of this Ren Fair is more compact. I'm gonna put the shows under Fool Me Once, Strike One, Fool Me Twice, Strike Three. As for the reenactments, I understand nothing. I saw 0 reenactments there. If I missed that, I don't know how. I saw no reenactments. For extra activities, my friends did get married at the chapel there. I did get challenged to a duel, which was quite fun. Oh, and then at the end of the day, we danced with a bunch of like people singing, and that was fun. So I'm gonna say, as for extra activities, I'm gonna put it under Fool Me Once, Strike One, Fool Me Twice, Strike Three. I am gonna say though, I went with like people that love these things, and they made it 1,000 times better. I'm a little biased on this trip. Next, we have the food. I felt like the food was really good. It was not as expensive as other places. I remember I got these chicken, I think it was like chicken fingers or something, and it was like, I don't even remember, $5 or something.
I think it was $5.50. I get 3 chicken fingers, essentially.
So I'm going to put the food under I Am Beyonce Always. For the shopping, I'm gonna put that as Fool Me Once, Strike One, Fool Me Twice, Strike Three. I saw a lot of shops, yes, but it wasn't anything that blew me away by any means. As for the vibe, I think the vibe is decent. There's lots of shade. It is a bit of a hike around everywhere. But you know what's not great about the layout is the bathrooms. As for the people, a lot of people were dressed up. A lot of people were like talking to each other. People would walk by and like start having a conversation. And even the people that worked there were talking more, which I don't, again, you know, this may have had something to do with the people I was with.
Do you want to touch it?
Hi!
I would like to touch your sword.
That is very sexy
Oh,
though.
dear.
You know what we call that? BSE, big sword energy.
Oh, goody.
Yes.
I always say, go with people that are outgoing and are interested in chatting, because if you go with someone that's introverted, it's literally going to be not a bad experience, but not the best. The people here, to me, seemed like I Am Beyonce always. And as for the crowds, it was not super packed. At some points walking through like it was, but it was pretty spread out. So I'm gonna put the crowds at, I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. Now we are moving on to the biggest Renaissance festival in the world, and that is the Texas Ren Fair in Todd, Mission. So the tickets for the Todd Mission Texas Renaissance Festival do vary from weekend to weekend depending upon the theme. Anywhere from $14 to $30 is what you're looking at paying for a ticket. I think my ticket was like $24.50 or something like that. For the shows have to go at number 1. I've been 3 times now. I went for a whole weekend, camped out, went a whole other separate time, and I still have not seen every show that they have to offer. So shows have to go at I Am Beyonce always. Plus the stages are so big, there's always seating, and the Solar Rain show and the joust were incredible. The firework display was absolutely insane. It was insane. Reenactments, I honestly don't recall ever seeing any reenactments. There were like certain things going on, like reenactors, I guess, singing in a group together and putting on a play just out in the middle of nowhere. But to me, that wasn't like a guild with a tent set up, living out life during a specific time period. So I'm gonna put the reenactments under I understand nothing, because I understand nothing. Extra activities, I'm so biased because I love this Ren Fair. When the Ren Fair closes, right, it's nighttime, there are still bars that will be open that you can hang out in after hours, and people are there just like drinking and playing live music and dancing, and everyone's talking. So that's really cool. I really like that. But plus, if you go to the Renaissance Festival, you are able to go to the campgrounds right next to it. You are welcome to go to all of the campground parties. You can go to the nightclub, which is on the campground. There's raves, there's a strip club, there's flogging stations. There's literally everything you can think of. And I'm telling you, like, when it comes to extra activities, nothing in the world can beat that. And I even forgot the bonfire. Oh my gosh, the bonfire, it's an incredible time. So extra activities, yeah, I Am Beyonce always. Regarding food, the turkey leg at the Texas Ren Fair was $18. That's quite a bit. I like to think of the Todd Mission Texas Ren Fair as Epcot at Disney, because you can go to different countries and try different foods there and see different shows based around that country. And it reminds me of Epcot, just saying. So there was lots of food options. I'm not saying every single place had affordable food, but there were lots of places with affordable food. So I am going to put the food at I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. As for the shopping, that has to go under I Am Beyonce always, because there are over 450 merchants, guys. 450. For the vibe of the Texas Ren Fair, hands down, it has to be I Am Beyonce always. This place is huge. You have a garden that you can go like walking through that's pretty big. The layout of the place is set up in a way that you just go in a big circle and then you end up back at the exit, which is super, super nice. But there's also like cut-throughs in the circle so you can get to places faster. The layout's just great. And the arena for the joust, which is like a coliseum, is huge. It doesn't matter where you're sitting, you're gonna see the show. There are many chapels that you can get married at, and I've been many times and I feel like I still haven't seen it all. It's gonna go under I Am Beyonce always. As for the people, I'm gonna put the people under Fool Me Once, Strike 1, Fool Me Twice, Strike 3. Every time I've been, I went with someone that didn't want to be there. So I feel like I didn't get the best experience I could have with the people, although I did make friends on the campground and I love them. And as for the crowds, it's gonna be under the same ranking. It is pretty packed in general, but again, the setup is really nice. There's a lot of space there. You're not often going to be shoulder to shoulder with anyone at any point in time just because of how large it is. All right, guys, I've tallied up all of the scores and we have our winner, but let's start with the worst leading up to the best. So the Ren Fair coming in 4th place is the California Renaissance Festival. Did you guess it? I actually thought that was gonna be first for some reason. The Ren Fair that came in 3rd place is the Arizona Renaissance Festival. And the fair that came in 2nd place is Colorado, and number 1 is the Texas Renaissance Fair, the largest Renaissance fair in the world, which I'm not surprised it came in at number 1. That's my favorite Renaissance fair personally, but I actually didn't know if it would be that after ranking everything individually, but I'm happy it is because I really like it and I would recommend it to anyone that wants to go. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed me tier ranking all of these different Renaissance festivals. I do hope that I attend more in the future so I can do this again, and maybe another one will take the lead. Honestly, I don't know though. It's gonna be tough because the Texas Renaissance Fair is my favorite. Anyways, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, let me know, and I guess that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Also, I did document every single Renaissance festival that I just mentioned here in this video. So if you want to check out all of those different videos, you can go ahead and do that here. Or maybe it's on this side. I actually don't know which side it's on.